Hello and welcome to Strange Places, where we go places that most people wouldn't dare to venture.
And I am your host, Max Power.
Today we are going to take you to Bachelor Grove Cemetery, one of the most haunted cemeteries in the United States, where we took some very strange and unexplainable photos. Bachelor Grove Cemetery is one of the most notorious graveyards in the United States. It is often featured on sites describing the most haunted locations in America. There have been hundreds of reports of paranormal activity at the Grove, and many claim to have spotted strange figures in their photographs of the grounds, most notably this photo featured in the Chicago Sun-Times. The subject is known as the White Lady, or the Madonna of Bachelor Grove. While some claim it's authentic, many skeptics have dismissed it as a double exposure trick. Bachelor Grove has been the subject of dozens of lame documentaries and the inspiration for one weird, low-budget film. I probably shouldn't be talking smack considering that the movie is kicking our ass in terms of views. This is my horror story. I mean, come on, this is just sad. Legend has it that Native Americans used Bachelor Grove as a burial ground for centuries. However, the first recorded history of the area begins with European settlers, who came to the region in the early 1800s. Bachelor Grove may have been settled as early as 1820. The area got the name Bachelor Grove because the land was originally carved up and bought by 4 single men. Although the first burial was in 1838, the 1-acre piece of land did not become an official cemetery until 1864, when the land was sold and the owner set aside a piece of the land to be used as a cemetery. Bachelor Grove did not acquire its haunted reputation until the late 1950s when people began reporting strange activity. Blue orbs were spotted in and around the cemetery, and a phantom house began appearing to visitors late at night. The old Midlothian Turnpike that ran past the cemetery was closed to traffic in the early 1960s. The road was left to rot, and today it resembles a small trail. The last burial was performed in 1965. This isolation only gave rise to more strange occurrences. Vandals and grave robbers descended on the cemetery, toppling and spray painting headstones, stealing markers, digging around graves, and opening up coffins. Satanic cults also began performing their rituals at the Grove. Many blame the restlessness of the undead on the grave desecration and occult activity that has taken place over the years. A fence was installed in the 1970s, but that did not stop the vandalism. Today, people still encounter orbs of light, strange hooded figures, the phantom house, devil worshippers, and of course, the Madonna of Bachelor Grove. Today, Sean and I are going to give you a tour of the infamous graveyard, share the stories of locals, and show you what we caught on camera. Finding Bachelor Grove Cemetery isn't easy. The entrance is hard to spot, and if it's your first time, you don't know where to park. We eventually found it and headed down the old abandoned road.
This is the original Midlothian Turnpike. It was eventually closed off, and this woods kind of grew around it. This used to all be fields back before probably the 70s and started becoming overgrown. The road's kind of been abandoned.
About a quarter mile later, we had arrived at the cemetery.
One estimate says that there are about 200 people buried there, but it's probably more along the lines of 150 people buried here. And due to some of the vandalism that occurred, they moved a lot of the bodies. So there's probably a good 70 to 100 bodies still here though, buried underground. See, there are a ton of people here because it is the week before Halloween. There used to be a gate right here. There used to be a big gate that stretched here that allowed no one in.
When we arrived, we spoke with a few interesting individuals.
Can I get it?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a ghost. You don't see me.
There you have it. It's a ghost.
First ghost sighting.
I wouldn't mind being haunted by that ghost. A woman spoke with us about her son's encounter with the phantom house.
My son said there was a cottage in these woods.
Yeah, we heard that too.
Stairway
Like a
or
house.
something about the stairway, and he sat on the stair. Then he came back and it was gone. He couldn't find it.
Really?
The young couple I mentioned earlier told us about the regular occurrences of occult rituals.
Devil worshippers that come here.
Yeah, at night.
Still?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen them or?
No, that's the story.
I wish.
They still come here though.
Like around Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
So they might come tonight?
They might.
A few women showed us a strange picture they took.
That kid that I took the picture of, that face morphed.
Yeah.
was sitting on this lady in
What
white.
was odd on that, though, is that everything else was totally still.
Yeah.
It was a perfect picture except for the face. So, and, you know, which he could be. He could have been moving his. He could have been moving. Yes.
To me, it just looks like a blurry photo. Then we took a tour of the cemetery. The evidence of vandalism over the years is obvious.
So this is one of the more famous graves, infant daughter. If any book you read about this place, you will find information on this. People leave things here. Some people believe that if you don't leave an offering here, that some spirit will follow you home. Someone left a receipt here. Look at this. Wait, someone left a Burger King receipt. October 21st.
Yes, it was so kind of you to give up your treasured Burger King receipt. We visited a few more interesting graves. Then we came by the famous grave with a headstone labeled Moss, where the mysterious and elusive ghost of Randy Moss reportedly rises from the ground and haunts the graveyard every Sunday. The ghost of Randy Moss is no joke, and locals have reported dozens of sightings of Moss in the grove over the years. Skeptics claim that this is impossible because Randy Moss isn't even dead. Perhaps it is his NFL career that is buried here. Whatever, this is old news. The lake at Bachelor Grove has a history of its own.
Okay, this is the lake where a lot of vandals have thrown some of the markers in here.
Yes, in fact, people are still working to recover many of the lost headstones that have been thrown into the lake.
During the 1920s and the 1930s, when the gangs ruled the streets of Chicago, they dumped bodies in here. And the reason they knew that they were gangsters was they dumped bodies in here. Police pulled bodies out of the lake, and then they found illegal firearms in the lake too. One of the more interesting stories is back in the 1870s, a farmer was clearing his land. He was using a horse-drawn plow, so his horse suddenly spooked. He just got scared and ran right into the lake, drowning both the horse and the farmer.
Interestingly, in the 1970s, 2 county forest workers claimed that they witnessed a man on a plow drawn by a horse emerge from the lake, cross in front of them, and disappear into Rubio Woods.
According to many authors who have written about Bachelor Grove, where the Phantom House sightings have taken place, there was never any house there, according to historical records. When I looked at a 1938 aerial photograph of the cemetery and surrounding areas, however, there appears to be a house-like object directly west of the cemetery, exactly where the Phantom House sightings take place. Were the historical records wrong, and there actually was a house there many years ago? That's what we set out to find out.
The theory that the historical records are false and that one can see the foundations left by the houses is nothing new. Locals can usually show you exactly where these foundations are. However, it was only Sean and I. We didn't have any locals to guide us, but we decided to try and get photo evidence of these foundations to answer the question of if there was a house there or not. We did find the remains of what looked to be a well and a bone.
On a Bachelor's Grove. Probably a bone of a deer.
It is very easy to become disoriented in these woods. We could not find the foundations and went completely off course right into a godforsaken patch of thorn bushes.
Get off! Oh, it's off. Ow! I lied! I don't know what's scarier, the ghost or these thorns.
I would highly recommend you to know where you're going before venturing into these woods. We decided to get out of there, get food, and come back when it got dark.
Here at Five Guys, trying to regroup, trying to look at some maps.
While we were at Five Guys, we met a man who gave us some help and a story of his own.
So yeah, there is an actual house back there. You can see like the foundation and just like the cement blocks of where it used to be. There's actually 2 over here. Like around here is where you see like the Phantom House and stuff.
Yeah, about the satanic worship.
Oh yeah. So I went there one time and there was this guy. He had a black cordon, black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and he was just kind of standing in the background, like just looking at me and my friends. And we were like, hey, is that a guy? Like, yeah, it's totally a guy. And he heard us say it, and then he starts like walking towards us, and we were like, all right guys, out of here. But he followed us all the way out. There's some weird shit there.
It seems as though the Sith are responsible for these rituals at Bachelor Grove. Or perhaps he was describing Bill Belichick? I mean, hey, can you tell the difference?
We left Five Guys and headed back to the Grove.
10:10. We're going back right now.
If you thought Bachelor Grove was creepy in the daytime, you've obviously never been there at night. We headed back into the woods, where I captured a number of photos with strange-looking orbs and also some strange small lights. We once again had a difficult time navigating these woods.
Supposed to cross this, and then. Whoa! Son of a bitch! Oh, not quite.
We headed back to the cemetery. This is where I took our most interesting photos.
That little orb thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, I like the orange one better. The orange one looks more like a ghost. The orange one, go to the orange one. That one's a little weird.
That is kind of weird, actually.
A mysterious red light appeared out of nowhere and was only visible to our camera. In recent days, a red orb has been spotted moving in and around the cemetery. Could this unexplainable light be the reported red orb? We also captured a picture of this blue orb. Then we took a final walk amongst the graves.
It's like if you looked up creepy cemetery in the dictionary. Oh, here's...
We attempted to decipher the writing on one of the older and more weathered tombstones.
Oh, it just say Rick. This looks like Rihanna. Patrick. Patrick.
Yeah, it's definitely Patrick. More
There's an 8 here. 18.
72. 1811 to 1872.
Pageman.
We took one last look at infant daughter and then decided to leave.
Pros, I did find it creepy. Certain parts where it was creepy, like when you're open in like an open area in the woods or in the cemetery. I thought that was kind of creepy. But I don't know if I was afraid because of people or because there was like something there. There's a lot of stories behind it, so I think that kind of has like a special vibe. But like there's something special there just because all the stories you hear. Without the stories, I feel like it would just be like a regular small cemetery. Cons, don't go in the forest. It's very confusing. You'll get lost at nighttime. I would definitely go in the daytime, but it's a pain in the ass because I feel like we were just walking around in circles.
Yeah.
I feel very claustrophobic, especially with all the branches and trees and all the thorns we were walking
Get
through.
lost in there very easily.
Yeah, so there's nothing really in the forest I would go look for besides the foundation. If you can find it, I would go look for it in the daytime.
I took these photos to a photo expert who told me that the white orbs were either caused by dust on the lens or were a reflection created as a result of particles in the air. He did not, however, have an explanation for the red light seen in this photograph. It is really odd because you can see the red light and then you see a reflection at the bottom of the screen. There is also a third object off to the right. This red light is very odd, and there is no reason that it should have appeared in our photo. The blue orb is also quite odd. I would really appreciate it if someone would message me or comment giving me a scientific explanation. Until then, the mystery of these photographs remains unexplained. Thank you for watching Strange Places. Goodbye. If you're going in the daytime, you can just park at this parking lot right across the street from Bachelor Grove, and then just walk across the street and then, go down the road and you're at Bachelor Grove. But if you're going at night, while it may seem tempting to park at this parking lot since it's so close, don't do it because the Forest Preserve and Bachelor Grove technically close at sunset. And if your car is parked in that parking lot after sunset, the police will give you a ticket. There are some places to park. There's this place, which I believe is a restaurant that has a big parking lot that's south of Bachelor Grove. And then there's a 7-Eleven southeast of Bachelor Grove. And I'm pretty sure you could get away with parking at both those areas. It is a bit of a walk, but it's better than getting a ticket. If you don't have a car and you rely on public transportation, you can get to Midlothian through the Metro. It is a long walk from the Midlothian train station to Bachelor Grove. Oh yeah, and here are the exact latitude and longitude coordinates. Enjoy your trip to Bachelor Grove.